Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we're going to do a character guide on Gabranth. So Gabranth just dropped with his FR and his BT. Now I did not pull his BT, so I won't be able to actually demo the BT for you, but I'll explain what it's actually pretty simple what it does, so you won't really be missing out on anything, you just won't see the actual attack. But I'll just explain what it does when I get there, and it won't be that bad. But I've got the rest of his kit, his LD, his FR, all that stuff, so we'll go ahead and explain it. Gabranth, I think, actually is a pretty darn powerful character. He's a very good character if you like debuffing characters. So definitely take a look at my guide, see if you like the playstyle. If you like the explanation of how he works, then definitely go for him, invest him, he's very good. If he doesn't sound like your character, then you can kind of leave him be and you're going to be fine, right? So before we jump in, let's go ahead and look at his spheres and his artifacts. We'll also talk about his force enhancements. His force enhancements are standard. So if you're going to invest in Gabranth and use him a lot, you want to take it to 30 because all the skills get really boosted from that. If you're going minimum investment like I'm doing, then you just take it to 10 because you only need character points, and then you kind of can just ride him low investment if you want to. But he's not going to like power you through Shinryu like he would if you full invest him, right? So it just depends on how much you want to invest in the character there. For his artifacts, basically what you want is this one right here. It's attack 108 and upholder of the law up. So you'll get attack, and then basically if the enemies are debuffed with the Outlaws brand, which if you're playing him right, they're going to have that up the whole time, he's going to raise all of his stats by 5%. So that's pretty much the combo you want. Max Brave 330 is a good substitute if you need it, but I would pretty much go attack 108 in that if you can. And then on the spheres, so he's got 3 different slots here. He's got an A, a B, and an E slot. So an A is an attack slot, a B is a tank slot, and an E is a debuff slot, which really kind of describes what he does. He's an attacker, he's a tank a little bit, or helps your party basically defend, and then he's also a big-time debuffer. So in the A slot, you really just want to go brave damage or attack. You could really throw on whatever you want. It depends on, once again, if you're full investing him, then go with like a really high attack sphere. Or like an attack brave damage combo, like Jack. Jack is a good attack brave damage combo that I usually recommend. He does not hit weakness damage, so you can't use Rydia, but he is melee damage, so you could do like a really high physical or melee attack sphere, or just a generic like 5, 10, 15% attack, something like that. So I just had an extra Gao sphere that I threw on. Brave damage increased while he has max HP, so I just did that. For the B slot, his own is probably like one of the better ones you can do, because I believe it's party-wide brave damage reduction, but you could also do like Warrior of Light, which just reduces his own brave damage taken. So just something like that, pretty much a tanking sphere is what you're going to put on him. Kamari, I think, is another one you could substitute in if you wanted to, but if you really like Gabranth, just use his own. And if you're upgrading him for the first time, you will get a Gabranth sphere from maxing out his EX, so you could throw that on him if you wanted to. In the E slot, you really want to go attack with him. Gabranth is really like a debuff machine already, so there really isn't much he's missing. I think one of the only things he's missing is like maybe speed down, but the speed down you're going to get from a sphere, you're probably going to override it with a different speed down from another character, and speed down isn't like the most important debuff. So really Gabranth is hitting the important debuffs. He's already got like, I think, even some poison and stuff in there, so you don't even need to use Ferris. So I would just go with the E sphere that does attack. So the typical ones you do here are like Seymour, Oron, Emperor, or Yuffie. I had a bunch of extra Yuffie, so when I debuff, I'm going to get max brave and attack. So that's a pretty good one to put on there. All right, and with that, let's hop into the showcase. Now I'm doing a very specific team build here, because the way his FR works is you want to be able to break an enemy on command. So you would want to pair Gabranth with another character that has Unbreak, like Tidus has it, Zidane has it, I think Lightning has it. Characters like that, or you just bring Sephiroth BT. Sephiroth BT basically makes it so the whole party can just break constantly, and I'm just going to bring Garnet to try to make their stats look good. So that's pretty much my team comp here. Let me see, if I happen to see a Gabranth here with a BT, I'll take it, but I'm not expecting to. Gabranth isn't going to be a popular friend unit. Nope, I do not see him, so we just won't bring anybody. And we're just going to hop in like this. I didn't really like focus on anything specific for calls here. I really just want to show off Gabranth. So with Gabranth, what we need to look at are a few things. There's going to be a really important buff that he gets called Judge Magister. And then the enemies, we're going to be looking for them to have like a criminal's mark. Okay, so if we look at Gabranth, he starts with this Judge Magister. The big thing that this does, you can see it gives some party-wide buffs, which is really good, so you want to upkeep this. But the big thing is it enables enfeeblement. And basically what Enfeeblement does is anytime the enemies basically take an action against you, they get inflicted with a Criminal's Mark debuff. And so let's see if the enemies start with Criminal's Mark right away. They do. They start with this Criminal's Mark. So you really want to keep this Criminal's Mark up. One, because it's doing a bunch of nasty debuffs to the enemy. But by having this up, you're going to be able to upgrade this to a debuff called Outlaw's Brand. So you want to watch out for that to get upgraded. Okay. And once that's upgraded, it actually makes his skills better. So what happens is his C15, just with this Criminal's Mark, is already upgraded. But if you get to Outlaw's Brand, then it's going to make his 35 and his EX and his LD do a little bit more. Okay, so let's look at what we've got here. Okay, and basically to upgrade it, the enemies right now have 3 debuffs. If we get them to 4 debuffs, then it's going to upgrade to Outlaw's Brand. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just start by using some of these moves. So let's start with Circle of Judgment. So Circle of Judgment is the 15. This is just a pretty standard AoE attack. It does do some party battery, but this will refresh the Judge Magister. So this is a 6-turn buff. So once again, this is really important for Enfeeblement, okay? Now, because we have Criminal's Mark, it's going to inflict attack down, defense down. It normally won't do it if they don't have Criminal's Mark on. So we're going to hit this, and they should get an attack down and a defense down on there. So you can see we added an attack down and a defense down. So the 3 buffs he started with was Judgment, Cellular Erosion, and Outlaw's Brand, but now we just added that attack down, defense down. Now you can see that Criminal's Mark upgraded to Outlaw's Brand because we added more debuffs on, right? So you want to keep the enemies at 4 or more debuffs to get the Outlaw's Brand. Now what I'm going to do is I'll just tell you really quick about the BT, because I don't have it. Basically, when you use the BT effect, it's going to do like general party buffs, kind of like other BTs do, but it's going to upgrade Outlaw's Brand into Felon's Punishment, which just basically makes the debuffs even greater. So literally it's the same thing you're looking at, it's just the BT is going to have a more severe impact on those debuffs. So that's the thing you got to keep in mind there. So we're not even seeing Gabranth nearly at his best, because if you have that BT effect up, his debuffs are even more crushing. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to set up some stuff here with Garnet, and we're going to let the enemies attack and just see, like, with this little spread that Gabranth has put on, we're going to see how much damage the enemies even can do to us here. And I got to fix Garnet's turn order here, or her weapon order. That should not be down there, and I have it every time and I keep forgetting to change it. But we'll let the enemies go here, and we're going to just see how bad this is. Now here's the cool thing. By having Outlaw's Brand instead of Criminal's Mark, it basically allows Guilt, the 35, it's going to allow the EX and the LD are all going to unbreak and break the target. Like, they get that with the Outlaw's Brand. So you want to make sure you have that Outlaw's Brand to get that. Once again, that's just from having the enemies with Outlaw's Mark, which they have at start of turn, and just make sure they have 4 or more debuffs. So Gabranth, he really struggles if you face a boss that are constantly cleansing their debuffs. He's actually not as effective there unless you can consistently keep those debuffs on, right? What I'm going to do is I'm not going to go crazy with Sephiroth right away, so we'll do Sephiroth's LD here. But we'll get, basically what we're going to do is before we go into Force Time, we're going to put up Sephiroth's BT effect to show you how that works. Alright, so let's see what happens here. So, yeah, you can see very low damaging numbers there because of all the debuffs. Like, the odds of them breaking us right now aren't that good. Yeah, just very low damage, like barely touching our Brave there, right? And that's because of all the debuffs. And now notice that the enemies, their 2 debuffs like refresh. That's what the Enfeeblement's doing. So these 6-turn buffs here on the end, the Outlaw's Brand and the Judgment, they both just keep refreshing, and that's because of Enfeeblement. Now remember, Enfeeblement comes from having the Judge Magister on. So make sure that that is just up, and then the enemies basically are constantly refreshing their own debuffs when they attack. So that debuffs just won't fall off, which is really, really cool, right? So let's go ahead and use Guilt. Well, I wish I could do, I don't know, here's what we're going to do. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and use Guilt just so you guys can see it. I wanted the enemies to be like not broken so I could show you the Unbreak there, but that would have unbroken them even if they were already broken, right? So Guilt, it's just another Brave gain, big 6-hit attack, and some party battery, right? Like, just pretty standard, but the Break, Unbreak now is what it's got that's really good, and once again, it comes with them having that upgraded debuff. We'll just go ahead and do an Aquamarine here. And then we're still a few turns away from its EX, so we'll hold off on that. But we can show the LD next, I think is what we'll do. So Sephiroth, we will just go ahead and just do an Octaslash here. Sephiroth's still dealing pretty heavy damage. Yeah, just a 1 mil slap there. Sephiroth, quite powerful. Quite powerful indeed. We'll just do a Peridot here, I guess. Just to change it up, try something a little different. Let that go. Alright, so the enemies are going to attack again. Now, once again, you can see they're just loaded with debuffs. Let's see how much damage they're doing to us here. Yeah, once again, just like 1600 to hit. Not very much. And then you see the debuffs refreshing from Enfeeblement. Gaze, 0 damage. Pretty good. Alright, so now, what we'll do is we'll show off the LD. Actually, what I'll do is I'll show you the AA. So, what the AA does, this is really good. Because it's going to give him like a big attack up. It's going to give brave damage limit up. But the big thing is it does party HP damage taken down. So what's going to happen is if the enemies are about to do a big recast ability, they're about to go in their force time and do a big HP attack, you throw on the AA and you're taking way less HP damage while that's up. So definitely make sure you're timing that. Now the LD, you don't get a ton of uses of this, so you want to be careful on how often you use it. So let's use it right now. Once again, this would unbreak and then re-break if they weren't, but they're already got brave, so that's fine. They're just going to keep doing that. This also is going to reapply the attack down, defense down, same as his 15. But then it's going to give him a buff called Prince's Keeper. And basically that buff is just a lot of really good generic buffs. And then it's also HP damage taken down. So that's where his tankiness comes with. He's basically providing himself and the party with a lot of HP damage taken down. So what we're going to do is Gabranth should be up for an EX next turn. So we'll get his EX. And then what we'll do is Sephiroth's next turn after Gabranth uses his EX, we'll use Sephiroth's Burst. And then we'll jump into Force Time with Gabranth and kind of show that off here a little bit. Now, if you have Gabranth with his Burst, you wouldn't even have to bring another Unbreak character if you're willing to use Gabranth's Burst phase for his FR, because basically with all these skills, he's going to be able to Unbreak himself. Because that's what you want to do for his FR, to raise the HP damage up. You have to break an enemy, and then also you get, so that's 30%, and you get 15% for attacking a debuffed enemy. That's super easy, because the enemies are just constantly, like, going to be debuffed, right? Okay. Yep, we're going to do that. We're going to do that. Yep, perfect. Alright, so Gabranth now we're going to use the EX, so let's pop that off. Once you get it the first time, it does charge decently fast. And what's really nice about the EX is you can spam his skills, because his EX is going to give you a free skill use every time he uses it, right? Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the lore, Gabranth is basically Bosch's twin brother. And when he did the EX there, he actually does all of Bosch's attacks in one animation, which is really cool. But yeah, Gabranth is like the evil twin brother. So if you haven't played Final Fantasy 12, I guess I just spoiled that for you. But his alternate costume is him without his helmet, and he looks just like Bosch. So that's very, very cool. I think it's cool how he does Bosch's attacks in his animations. I think that's a really interesting piece they added there. We did take a little bit of damage. So, oh, this is probably from, yeah, the HP poison. That's why we're taking damage. Because we're just doing this for Shinryu to kind of get things off here. But on the EX also would unbreak and then break. And then he gets that free ability use, and it does some battering and some damage, as you saw there, right? And that does also refresh the Judge Magister, which is really good, because that's the thing that's doing the enfeeblement, right? Okay, so now, what I'm going to do is, I think I am just going to take a turn from them here, just so I can get some free shots here. And then what I might do is I might even do Summon Phase. So we'll go ahead. Actually, Summon Phase could be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and just pop this. Now, what we're going to do with Sephiroth here is Sephiroth is going to use his BT, and the reason why this is a really nice combo with Gabranth is because if you've never used it before, basically while Sephiroth's BT is up, after every action, whether it's yours or the enemy's brave always resets to 1 no matter what. So literally if they're broken, it unbreaks them, sets them to 1. So as long as Sephiroth has that BT effect up, you're literally breaking every single attack, which combos super well with Gabranth's FR, right? So now what we'll do is let's go into Gabranth FR. Now with the free skill use here, like you could just do Circle of Judgment or Guilt. You can just like spam attacks, right? But once again, watch the debuffs on the enemy, watch the buffs on yourself, make sure you keep that all in line. But let's go ahead. Oh, I can't use the FR yet because I didn't bring, I got to charge it still. Yeah, that would probably help, right? If I actually charge the FR gauge. So I guess we're just going to have to attack through. And I didn't bring a force charger. Shoot, I should have brought Penelo. What am I thinking? All right, well, I guess we're just going to kind of swing away for a while here. But basically, you can see it. And maybe I'll end up doing this without showing the force attack, just because I don't know if I want to go that long. But look what Sephiroth is doing. Their Brave is resetting the one every time. So we're just breaking constantly, right? Just absolutely ridiculous breaking constantly. Actually, here's what I'll do. This will just be quicker. Let's just, we'll just quit out quick. We'll just pretend. And what I'll do is I'll just bring in Penelo. We'll just spam up to it super fast. That's going to be faster than me naturally trying to build up. Or actually what I can do, yeah, I was going to say if I go into like a chaos, I'm just going to kill him way too quick. But let's just, we'll go into the, well, no, I don't want to do the regular Lufeni because they have an orb that can kill me. So yeah, we'll just do Shinryu. Let's just grab Penelo quick. She's like my go-to Penelo. And we're just going to do this on the cuff here. You guys are just going to come along for the ride with me. I don't like wasting time editing these days. I like to get my videos done quick. So we'll just do this exact same setup. You've already gotten the explanation on the kit. So all we're going to do is we are just going to spam into force time, get Sephiroth's BT up, and then we'll just do that part of the showcase, and then we'll basically be wrapped up from there, right? So we'll just hop in again here really quick. Penelo's just going to get a turn and go to town. So Gabranth, we do need to get the Outlaw's Mark upgraded again, so we'll just do Circle of Judgment. That's going to pop once again, so we're just repeating it, right? We're popping those 2 extra debuffs. Now we're on our Outlaws brand. It's upgraded. Sephiroth, we can just pop, sure, let's do an AA. We'll just pop his BT effect right away, so we're just going to hop right into this. So we'll do this. Make these enemies quite breakable, which is good, because then we'll just keep breaking them past us. And then they won't even get an attack here by the time we have our FR set up, right? Alright, so we'll do that again. And then Penelo's just going to do her thing and go to town. Alright, so now we're going to ramp up quick here, guys. Ramping up. I'm not even going to use her intercessions. I think I'm just going to go crazy here. Actually, no. Well, no, intercession won't break them. So yeah, I'm going to have to... I'm just going to... Yeah, what I'll do is I'll just do this. And then what I'll do is I'll end with her LD, which will break both of them. And then Gabranth will get a turn, and then we'll just go to town. Yep, I won't even do the intercessions, just because this will just be quicker. We'll just spam up as fast as we can here. Get us to 100% force time gauge. Very good, very good. Yeah, Penelo has just been, like, my favorite. Like, I went back. So, I originally, like, my first ever Ultima weapon was a dagger, because I did it for Locke, and I love Locke. But then I actually, when Kain came out, I traded in my dagger for a spear. But now that I'm not using Kain anymore, I traded my spear back for the dagger to give to Penelo, because I'm using Penelo so much. So she's just chilling here with her Ultima dagger. Just doing her supporty things like she does like crazy. Alright, so we're going hardcore. Now, if I run out of skills, I can use her ability use and get some back. But we're pretty close to 100% here. I think we're going to get it. I could even pop an intercession if I needed to, but I think we got it. Alright, so let's do this. And that should be 100%. Yep, and then we're going to pop the LD here and then go into force time. So that wasn't too bad, right? So we'll do this. This should break them back. And then Gabranth is going to go force time. And then basically you're going to kind of see how it plays out. Alright. So now you see they just reset to 1 instantly from Sephiroth, right? So now we're going to go ahead. And don't stress. Like, I know if you're a newer player, you probably don't have Sephiroth. Don't stress. I'm just saying, like, bring instant break characters. Other, like, a lot of you have Tidus. Tidus is a great partner. You can use Tidus. He just doesn't do it as consistently because it's only coming on the Jack shot. But if you want to, just go in with Gabranth's own burst time if you have his burst, right? Okay, so yeah, and he partners with Gao, which is like the craziest. Final Fantasy VI love there. Yeah, getting and that also breaks unbreaks as well. All right, so now in force time, basically our only requirements here to get the max out of this is we're breaking the enemy and we're attacking a debuffed enemy. So like even Penelo here, she can just do like her HP attack plus. It's a debuffed enemy and we broke them. So 50%, right? So every time we're attacking, we're getting like 50%. So now Sephiroth, sure, let's do the LD. We'll just break them, push them back. And so this technique with Sephiroth, you don't need to be in a burst phase. You can just let all the characters act normally as long as you're doing attacks. You're not just doing like free turn like Brave gains or something like that, right? So sure, let's pop the LD. And now we'll just let Gabranth go crazy and do a lot of damage. How much damage? Yeah, 700k AoE there. So then we just, oh yeah, don't worry about the battery. We're going to make it through. We're going to get through this video here. Intercession doesn't break, so I wouldn't recommend using Intercession if you got Penelo. I would just do, you want to make sure you're breaking them, right? So you got to make sure you're doing attacks that will actually do brave damage and break. Sephiroth, let's go ahead and do Fervent Blow. Now, once again, this isn't as crazy as Cam. That's why everyone's talking about Cam. Like, we're not going to get up to, like, crazy 800%. But this is still, it's like a good force time, right? I'm sure. Let's do Quickening. So, once again, watch this. If you ever use Bosch, these are all of his attacks combined into one. Like, it says 15 is 35 and it's EX, I believe. All rolled into one attack there. Very cool. All right, and then Sephiroth. I'm sure Fervent Blow again. Just keep pushing them back. And then, sure, let's pop off a summon. We'll let Bahamut go. And then we can spam EX if we want to. Not with Pinello, though. Definitely don't want to do that with Pinello, because we want to keep breaking. Oh, that's interesting. So that broke, but they didn't reset to 1. Sephiroth still has his burst effect up. That's weird. Okay. So you can see we only got 20% there because we didn't break. So that's why the re-break is so important. So we'll go ahead and we'll do this. And then Gabranth will have Unbreak. Basically, all of his abilities have Unbreak except for Circle of Judgment. So when you're in Force Time, you just want to avoid Circle of Judgment. But we could, yeah, see, they reset the 1. But if they didn't reset the 1, I could do Guilt, I could do Quickening, I could do the LD. They're all gonna Unbreak even if they're already broken. So anyways, guys, there you go. There's Gabranth. That's how he uses Force Time. That's pretty much how he operates. Hope this guide helps you all out. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. We'll catch you all on the next one.